course, on the other side of our table is going to be Emmet Hurley here coming up for you all. While they get set up, they're gonna get prepared here, but Emmet is gonna be our competitor over on the left side of the table, I believe. Representing US, I think you said maybe Florida area, Kyle. Let's take a look at the accomplishments here for Emmet. I mean, wow, look at this. 2014 has been playing this game for a hot minute. You can see Wisconsin State champion there in the seniors division, as well as 2 top 16s, multiple years in a row at our regional championships, and then a top 64 in 2024 for Portland. But this is the standout accomplishment here for Emmet Hurley. Being in the top 4 in Baltimore in 2025, kicking off this season so strong here. Will he be able to take things down with the Roaring Moon, the Turbo Moon EX deck? Facing off against Lugia V-Star, it's gonna be one for the ages, Kyle. I mean, this matchup can be very close, that's for sure.
That is for sure. It's dangerous on both sides of the table. You can see a lot of fireworks early on, trying to incorporate maybe some of that single prize shenanigans that you can see from a Chinchino on one side, a Baby Roaring Moon on the other. Just depends on when you can incorporate the right Pokemon at the right time, but big knockouts from Roaring Moon EX, and on the other side, the Iron Hands. Obviously, 2 Pokemon you need to keep your eye on in this match.
Yeah, it's going to get dicey here between our players. I think so much of it is going to come down to the initial setups here that we potentially see. And that all starts with the prize cards. Hopefully we see not anything too bad, but we have
Hands.
A Roaring Moon, a Mew EX in the prize cards there for Emmet. Over on Ciaran's side, Iron Hands, like you said, Kyle.
Yeah, the
Squawkabilly as well.
Of Squawkabilly, of course. It's not pleasant to see on that side, but of course, Lugia, you just got to get your birds in the discard pile, right? You'll make something work. You'll find your pieces maybe at an opportune time and incorporate the Iron Hands into that middle or late stage of the game.
Yeah, those are the keys for sure for Lugia V-Star to have to be able to unlock the door into potential wins here. We're going to see how it turns out in our top 4 match here in Baltimore. Let's kick things off, Kyle. We've got the fist bump. We are underway between our players here, and it is the 2 monsters themselves here. Pokemonsters in that Roaring Moon EX. Lugia V starting out strong, and Pokestop's going to roll straight away, netting an Earthen Vessel here to Emmet, and one of those Dark Energy hitting that discard pile as well.
Right, exactly what you want to see.
Yep.
Throwing away those energies early on. Give yourself an opportunity to use one of those 4 Dark Patch that you see featured in the list. So important to start to accelerate those energies and put on some early pressure. You could see a little peek of the hand. Pokemon Catcher is a card featured in this list. And that means Emmet is looking to take aggressive V knockouts whenever possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the name of the game in this matchup. When you can take out those Vs, race to the prize cards, that's where you want to be if you're Emmet Hurley for sure. Let's talk about these lists as Emmet checks out the deck here, because we do see a little bit of a spicy inclusion that is actually huge in this matchup. Kyle, we were talking about it backstage. Why don't you introduce it here for our audience?
Yeah, Emmet, he's not a fan of Lugia, it seems. And
nope.
Sure enough, brought the Enhanced Hammer to try to hammer out some of those issues that we see. Specifically, you can run into issues with the Mist Energy when you're trying to take that automatic knockout by way of Roaring Moon, or that pesky Legacy Energy. I like my prize cards, boo.
I like them too, Kyle, and I don't blame you for that one. Yes, Legacy Energy, that one copy that Ciaran plays. Emmet will have the potential to take that out of play with that Enhanced Hammer tech in the deck. It's just one, but that's sometimes all you need if you're Emmet. So we're going to churn through this turn 1 here. We saw the Nest Ball to get Radiant Greninja. And now we're seeing the Earthen Vessel to get rid of one of those supporters in that Professor Sada's Vitality. And we're going to see some Radiant Greninja action here in this concealed cards. 2 extra for Emmet to draw.
Yeah, for Ciaran on this side, you've seen your opponent throwing Dark Energies all over the place, discarding Professor Sada, which is one of the best cards. So what in the world are you holding in that hand over there?
Exactly. And you're looking at it.
There's certainly a little more play, but yeah. Sadas.
2 more. That's a lot of Sada, if I do say so myself. Sada. That is a lot of Sada here in our Baltimore top 4, Kyle. But we're over here on Ciaran's side of the field now, hopefully to kick things off just as strong for the Lugia player. Of course, we just featured a Lugia mirror match in our top 8, so Ciaran is going to be following those same strategies that we saw as far as getting those Archeops into the discard pile. Take a look at the quick look at the prize cards in those couple of Pokemon stuck in there as well, and a couple of energy too. That Mesa Goza making it even harder to maybe align some Pokemon that you need to either discard or get down in the first place for Ciaran. So, did you get a look at the hand for Ciaran to start with, Kyle?
Nope.
All right.
We're flying blind. It's going to be a dangerous time, but this is actually just it.
Woo!
That is perfect to see the Ultra Ball double chops. No need to go spinning the wheel to throw away birds. We got everything we need right here.
Lining up nice and clean. That's what we like to see. Ultra Ball, double chop down into the discard in those Archeops. Those are going to be able to be sought out later to be able to start accelerating all of these special energies needed and keep up in that prize race that we've been talking about so much. As far as the edge of decks for both of these opponents, now we see 2 pretty solid setups for both of our opponents, and none of them seem to be bricking too hard here in this matchup. Where do you think it goes from here? Of course, Emmet was able to go first. Is that going to come into play here, Kyle?
Certainly. I think that Emmet not only has an opportunity to capitalize on an early Lugia V knockout, which we see Ciaran respecting with the second Lugia V placed on the bench, but Emmet didn't really have to commit any of those awkward Pokemon, that Squawkabilly, that Mew, that Pecharunt, whatever it may be, just some early Pokemon to target down and maybe steal additional prize cards with an attack from your Lugia V-Star. It's not on board. Really clean setup from Emmet, and it means that Ciaran has to either overextend early on or just accept the fact that you're not taking a turn 2 knockout.
Yeah, that would be tough indeed, but Ciaran churning through this first turn here. Professor's Research is going to help out a bit with that fresh 7 cards to the hand here. You see that beautiful pink card in the hand for Ciaran that might come up later, but that's going to be it for the turn. So securing that Lugia V on the bench there, has a missed energy attached as well. And then it's just back over to Emmet now. This is where it gets kind of dangerous, Kyle. You could see some pop-off turns. This is called Turbo Moon for a reason. And we'll see how this kicks off with this concealed cards. 2 cards into the hand for Emmet. What are we working with?
A little bit of danger now.
Uh-oh.
There's no additional energy in hand after the draw from the Radiant Greninja. So if we see the Professor Sada, finding an Earthen Vessel or a Dark Energy would lead to Calamity Storm helping out and trying to deal with this opening Lugia V. But we don't see that yet. Pokestop certainly could help out a little more, but why not thin a little bit here with the Nest Ball?
Calamity, Storm, or Frenzy Gouging, they both require the same amount of energy there, but that Calamity Storm makes things, it does the math nice and easy. 220, knocking out a Lugia V, and a Night Stretcher as well coming in clutch here.
Yeah, it's typically you don't see this resource used in that fashion, but honestly, just to find a Dark Energy might be enough. Who needs it? We've got Earthen Vessel now to help out, and when you don't have to use resources awkwardly in the opening, maybe that you can hang on to those later on.
Pokestop has rolled, and it has netted us some cards here. We see the Dark Patch, we see the Earthen Vessel that can discard a card, get those energies out here as well for Emmet. And it's just a matter of what's being played now, and it's that Earthen Vessel.
Yeah, once again, it's just a clean board that we see from Emmet. To be able to charge up onto your Roaring Moons, take this opening knockout on the Lugia V. Yes, you're discarding the Stadium, which is also something that potentially comes up in a match like this. You have to count the Stadiums and consider how much damage you're really dealing with Calamity Storm against these misted Pokemon. You really want to remove that mist energy from Lugia V. If you can attack into that Pokemon and not have to worry about any frenzied gouging stuff, that's a free 2 prizes you love.
Yes, that would have been perfect math there on the perfect Pokemon, but unfortunately it was a heads there on that Pokemon catcher, or sorry, a tails on the Pokemon catcher. Wanted the heads, couldn't make it happen, but Professor Sada's Vitality, there were 2 in the hand from Emmet, one of them being played now, drawing into 3 additional cards after accelerating those dark energy onto the field as well onto those ancient Pokemon. And we are rolling here. Energy's out. We still have the attach for turn from Emmet. That is the 3 energy required here to get this Calamity Storm going. And we're not stopping, Kyle, the Dark Patch too, to start getting that Roaring Moon on the bench prepared for these upcoming turns as well.
Yeah, 5 energy in play. Quick knockout on the Lugia V on the back foot real quick. And yes, this is the right Pokemon to help out now. Lugia V with that mist energy.
Look at
Stick
that.
around once it evolves.
Fantastic cards off the prize cards as well in that dark patch, and a trekking shoes that gives Emmet a couple more options on coming up on the next turn. Ciaran is going to have to prepare here now, starting off with a Jacques to get some evolutions out of the deck in those Lugia V-Star.
Yeah, this feels too safe. You know, this is fair Pokemon, and we don't like fair Pokemon. So use that V-Star that cheats out those Archeops a little bit now, and certainly you have that attack lined up, but it doesn't just work for you. 230 is a tough number to incorporate into the mix. So, that's the play there. Jet, Big Bear.
Big Bear indeed. The Blood Moon Ursaluna is actually going to be the choice here from Ciaran. This is a card you don't usually see until the later game of our matches, but when you're playing Lugia V-Star, you have the ability to activate these Primal Turbos, get all of this energy out onto the field thanks to those Archeops here after that strong summoning star from the Lugia V-Star. And that means you have a lot of potential to attack with these alternate attackers, which is what we're about to see here in this Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Right, and what's the answer from Emmet? The response is very awkward when you see the mist energy. Yes, you have to have that enhanced hammer solely to take the knockout now. 260 hit points. Yeah, it's very difficult to take a knockout there. You could slow down and try to chip away at it with a Roaring Moon, but you're just asking for punishment on the other side.
Yep, 240 damage here with Blood Moon. What a move as well. That's going to take out that Roaring Moon EX that only had 230 HP there. Ciaran is going to tie things up. 2 prize cards each from both of these players as we get into this next turn here from Emmet. Radiant Greninja being moved into the active position here just to start the turn. Emmet does have a lot of cards to work with at least, and is going to increase that even more with the trekking shoes, deciding whether or not to discard this card drawn and draw another. It's going to be a judge drawn off that trekking shoes for Emmet.
Yeah, prize map switching up a little bit now. If you can incorporate a second Roaring Moon into play, Sadas, and start to get those energies played out, you use the Prime Catcher to target down that Lumineon V, and maybe you can knock out that Pokemon, take your 2 prize cards, and take that sneaky win by enhanced hammering off a mist energy and closing out with a final frenzied gouging. I think that's got to be the plan from this point forward.
I think you might be right, Kyle, and we're seeing all of that security being engaged here now. Double Dark Patch, lining up those energy on the benched Roaring Moon EX that just came back out from the Night Stretcher here. Prime Catcher, the A-spec of the deck here being played. Lumineon is coming into the active position, as well as that Roaring Moon EX being shoved up there as well, ready to fight here in this battle, and that's paired with a very strong judge as well, Kyle.
Little Baltimore seafood, sign me up. Judge to close in on that too. Just find 4 more cards. You only need 1 more energy for your Roaring Moon on the back end, and just finding additional energies altogether, drawing with the Radiant Greninja and getting 1 step closer to that enhanced hammer is the name of the game here for Emmet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how this deck plays. I feel like whether you're playing Roaring Moon EX or even the small Ancient Box Roaring Moon deck, it's all about that consistency, getting those attackers out, being prepared for every next turn, because you are just taking prize cards turn after turn. You got the map, the prize map down, and you're good to go.
Little Fizzendipity action potentially here. Protect yourself when your opponent likely takes a knockout next turn. You did not deal with Blood Moon Ursaluna. There's no surprise what's going to happen next turn.
No surprise at all. Fizzendipity EX once again being utilized here from this nest ball from Emmet. You love to see it. It has been so strong, so often here for our players. Let's see if it can pay off here for Emmet. 3 additional cards being drawn off of that flip the script.
Yeah, I'm not terribly, this isn't really the one I care about. Next turn,
that's the one we
the big
about.
script that we need to flip here. But just draw cards, put the
in your deck.
Get these resources out of the way, and you're expecting your opponent to have knockout and plus Iono on the next turn. As long as Pheasantipiti's there to help out, you could find the hammer next turn.
Yeah, we got the consistency, we have the security, we have the spicy text in the former turns. Emmet Hurley is literally setting everything up possible here, showcasing this deck to its full potential. We're just going to have to see how Ciaran reacts to that on the other side. Lugia V-Star is a formidable opponent, and with all those extra attackers here, especially that Blood Moon Ursaluna getting some play, we're going to have to see if Ciaran is ready for that enhanced hammer to go down.
Yeah, looks like Emmet really wants to draw the additional resources now. I feel a little more comfortable holding on to some of those energies, potentially being able to draw into next turn off of Iono, because each energy you see, that's 2 more additional cards with concealed cards when you need the hammer next turn.
That's true. Well, that's an Ultra Ball and another Dark Energy off that concealed cards now for Emmet. Still playing through this turn nice and steady, nice and slow. We got some crowd action out there as well, Kyle. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds exciting.
It's a lot of counting.
Yes.
We got a little bit of counting
here,
going
right?
on over here. It's, I suppose this was one of the issues that Emmet was looking at. I don't have a stadium.
True. That actually is pretty crucial.
Yeah,
here, Kyle.
it's not great. It's not terrible. You're probably getting knocked out either way, but being 30 away from a knockout never feels great, and it does lead to situations like this. Speedwing can take the knockout here now, and Emmet has to deal with a single prize Pokemon in the active spot. It's not what he wants.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is actually so brutal. No stadium in play to utilize off the Calamity Storm here on that Roaring Moon, so it's going to take a lot of damage here, 200 to be exact, attacking itself and taking out that Lumineon V. Is going to be another 2 prize cards, still has only 2 left to take for this next turn to close out this game here. But like you said, that's a single prize Pokemon, Kyle, in the active position. That's taking a 2 prize knockout right now here with Speed Wing. It is very speedy indeed with that knockout on that Roy Moon EX. And it's up to Emmet now. Can he close out the game here, Kyle?
The hand was not disrupted. There are Pokemon catchers in the deck, so it doesn't have to be boss's orders directly. But I think we'll find out very soon. Nest Ball to thin out. If there's anything left, there's a bundle, but there's another Archeops to consider there. Just thin this card out. Draw with the Radiant Greninja. Maybe you find the Pokemon catcher, the hammer, whatever it may be to help out. Getting closer, but not all the pieces are there yet.
I mean, where does he even go?
There's Pokestop. We can spin the wheel.
That's true.
It's a combination of item cards you're looking for at this point. If you find the Pokemon Catcher plus Hammer, you're there. I think Boss's Orders is actually in the hand. So if you're able to spin the wheel, find the hammer itself, you can have that combination to take a knockout on either the Lugia or the Ursaluna.
Yeah. Yep, we're going to have to see if the cards fall into Emmet Hurley's hand here, if he's able to pull off this turn. This is the pivotal start of the match. Iron Bundle is going to be used here to bring up just the other Archeops now. Mew EX coming down onto the bench here for Emmet as well.
Oh, yeah, Emmet actually able to play this hand down fairly well at this point. We get to do some counting ourselves. 1, 2,
3.
It looked like around 10-ish, 12-ish cards that were hanging out there. A little bit of draw from the restart. Ultra Ball there, too.
Oh,
play your energy for the turn.
Pokestop is in play here now for Emmet.
He just slammed the ball. Oh, he wants to draw first. We'll see how this works.
All right, 2 cards.
Pokemon catcher. Maybe then you can switch your supporter for the turn.
Yeah, that's true. That's an option here for Emmet. Is going to start off with this Pokegear, top 7 cards. can net you a supporter if you see it in there. We're also going to see the resources that are in the deck here now that Emmet's looking at as well.
Oh, we don't like any of those.
Nope. Yeah, none of
Y'all
them.
don't work.
Exactly. Reshuffling here. Maybe the other ones were just at the other side of the deck, I guess, Kyle?
Could be. I think you try the Pokemon catcher, see where you're at, and if this hits, you can Ultra Ball away the boss's orders, draw 3 cards,
Ooh.
heads. That's a big hit.
That is huge. Heads, bringing up
We're
this
churning,
Blood
we're burning.
Moon Ursaluna into the active. Churning, burning indeed, Kyle.
Looks like
Through this
pile of items, which is great news for a player that's going to see 3 additional cards by way of the Mew, 3 additional cards potentially by way of the Pokestop. A lot of draw here.
I mean, yeah.
And remember, Supporter was not played yet, so there are Sada to draw a little more too.
Yep, and that is the energy being attached for turn. This is the 3 off the restart, restarting this hand from Mew. That's
no energy to thin out with the Vessel. Trekking shoes to thin down even more.
Looks like taking a quick count here.
Yeah, there's Pal Pad, which
true.
then you need to consider if you use Pokestop first in that mix.
Yeah.
If you use the Pokestop now, well, let's just try the shoes.
Trekking shoes. What was it? It was a Night Stretcher. This is going to be the card to hand. Just another Pokestop.
Oh, this is so close.
Gosh.
This
Phesandipity's now.
rolling out. Well, look at that. There's a few more cards to see with the Pokestop now. Spin the wheel, flip it all over. There's the hammer. And we're going to take that mist energy right off the board. It lines up so smooth. Frenzied Gouging to take those prize cards, and we're moving on to game 2.
That is the only card you needed to see. A 1-of tech of that enhanced hammer, removing that mist energy that was protecting that Blood Moon Ursaluna from just being auto knocked out from that Roaring Moon EX in the Frenzied Gouging. And Emmet Hurley was able to get there in this game and take things down. 1-0 here in our Masters top 4.
Yeah, that was destructive. So many cards flying left and right. He burned the entire deck.
Yes.
What was that, 4 turns? Like, it is unreal how fast both these decks operate. And you can see the clock that Ciaran's on when it gets to this point. That Iron Hands has to be incorporated. We did not see it this time around. The prize cards did not let us incorporate that, but the Blood Moon Ursaluna made a quick entrance and took a big knockout early on in this game.
I mean, that's just got to be one of the coolest looking Pokemon I've ever seen, that's for sure. Utilized to the best of its ability, and everything was utilized here as well for Ciaran. That Lumineon went down from Emmet's side, but then we saw the knockout here with the Speed Wing. That Archeops having a lot to do here in this matchup, getting another 2 prize cards down for Ciaran, but Emmet was able to make everything happen, calculated to the best of his ability to narrow down the deck as much as possible, secure that enhanced hammer, remove that energy, that pesky mist energy, and that 1-of tech is coming in nice and handy here to potentially lead Emmet Hurley into our finals if he could just get another game here, Kyle.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're dreaming about when you went to sleep last night. An opportunity to make it to the finals, go through one of the best players in the game right now in Ciaran. And similarly for Ciaran, he's got to be thinking to himself, oh boy, that deck is fast. I got to come up with a plan and come up with it quick, because I probably got 3 or 4 turns before I'm going to be grabbing my prizes from the prize wall.
Yup, and that was with Ciaran having that double Archeops discarded immediately with the Ultra Ball. I mean, things were lined up there. Ciaran had the answers, but now seeing what Emmet's deck has to offer, this is pretty scary, actually, if you're Ciaran going into this next matchup. He's got to figure things out, hope that Emmet, or either Ciaran can do something to slow down Emmet, or Emmet's deck itself slows it down, but these turbo builds, they are built to go quick, and it's only a rare amount of times you see it be its own enemy, I suppose. So we'll have to see how the start is for each of our players. We've got the fist bump. We're heading into our game 2 here in our Masters top 4, and Emmet is going to be starting things off once again with the Roaring Moon EX. Kicking off with the trekking shoes. We're going hiking.
Yeah, that's and what do we always say about trekking shoes? They come in pairs.
They come in pairs. Hey.
Whoa! Radiant Greninja, sign me up. Yeah, this hand is looking pretty cool. A lot of search in the hand still. Maybe a earthen vessel away from jumping out of my chair.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, there's a bunch of Ultra Ball in the hand. We got the Nest Ball as well. We have the concealed cards potentially for Emmet to make a better decision here, drawing into a Pokegear 3.0, as well as a Pokemon, I believe.
Well, we're going to get a lot of information on how Emmet wants to play this game right now.
Nice.
There's the opportunity to go find Mr. Squawkabilly himself and get aggressive, throw cards left and right, have a full board, and get all those energies in play. But golly gee, that is a bad Pokemon in this matchup. Three
Yes.
prize cards to Iron Hands, easy knockouts for Lugias, and just about anything, honestly. What do you do?
Emmet's going to have to take that risk, see if he's willing to do that or not. You see him lining up all those Pokemon, see what the options are that are in the deck versus the prize cards for Emmet, but we're going to have to see what the choice is. Will Emmet be aggressive, fast-paced, as turbo as possible here with that Squawkabilly, getting into more resources, aligning this first turn off pretty well, and just try to take the aggro strat against Lugia V? Honestly, Kyle, if it was me, I think I'd do it.
It's scary. The hand says you need a lot of help because you've got Pokegear for next turn, sure, but there's no guarantee there's even a relevant attack going on next turn without an energy attachment right now, and we don't have it. So for Emmet, he's going to play it safe. He really liked that opening he had just last game with a nice clean double Roaring Moon plus Radiant Greninja, and there's always a chance that you'll just find all the right pieces.
Absolutely. Well, we see the Pecharunt.
Hit him with the poison!
EX, exactly, coming down here for Emmet. That Pecharunt, it's a new card that we've been dealing with here. Oh, we see it, Kyle! That Roaring Moon, it's got the poison. We rarely see the poison markers come out, so we're very hyped here on the caster desk. But that Roaring Moon being switched up with that subjugating chains here for Emmet. And it's just chilling now.
And this is the spot that Ciaran wanted to put Emmet in. Said, you know what, go first, because I need a little bit of time. I need a second Lugia. I need to find the right pieces. And this is one way to find the pieces, I suppose. Give your opponent a fresh hand and put nothing in the discard pile.
Nothing in the discard pile. Oh, no. Well, we'll see where we can go from here. At least Mesa Goza is in play now as our stadium here for Ciaran.
Hey, what city are we in?
What do you mean?
Is this is Baltimore,
Baltimore.
Right? The reading city?
Yes,
the city that reads. Are you ready to read the wind?
Oh, no. Oh, no. That is not the reading I wanted to be doing, Kyle. That is for sure here.
Oh, well, giddy up, because it's looking like it's probably going to be the way this turn ends.
Oh, no. That is tough to see here from Ciaran. At least we're playing out a couple of cards here. We saw the Capturing Aroma. It's going to be a Tails, which means a basic Pokemon here for Ciaran to be able to bring out of the deck. But, yeah. That's looks like trying to capitalize off of a slow start for Emmet Hurley, but Ciaran is just not able to get here, starting off with in a pretty slow way himself. Good thing there's like 50 minutes on the clock for both our players.
Plenty of time, yeah. If we gave them a collective 12 turns, I think they'd be able to figure this out all together for all 3 games.
Oh, well, look at those prize cards here for Ciaran. Several energy that we see. Jet, Double, Gift, none of those essential energies that are very key in this matchup there, but still a lot of energy to be in the prize cards. An additional Lugia V as well, and a couple of other additional cards to draw out for Ciaran. So we'll see what happens, but for now, Minchino gonna join us. Kyle, one of your favorites, right?
A good pal of mine, yes. I do like when he evolves and gets the special rolls going.
You said that like y'all have dinner every Wednesday together, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, look at that Ultra Ball double Archeops in the discard pile. That's what you want to see if you're a Lugia player. So we're getting one step closer here for Ciaran. Not as explosive as we would have liked to see, but we got the pieces lining up now for Ciaran. And of course, taking that damage from the poison on that active small Roaring Moon here for Emmet. And we're going to start off with the concealed cards. I gotta say, Kyle, I love how calmly composed Emmet plays this game.
Yes, there's a lot of chaos going on here. And poisoning yourself, throwing dice around, using your opponent's Mezagoza, switching up for the Pokestop, and just burning and churning, trying to get this opening turn 2 knockout. But just do it with a little bit of grace.
A little bit of grace. Hey, Emmet Hurley is doing it well, that is for sure. Roaring Moon EX coming down here. Nest Ball being played to search right back through the deck for Emmet, but that's the key to this. We want to see some knockouts start happening here for Emmet, and he's got that chance here. Just got to get there.
Yeah, the hand has definitely some potential. I think we need a little help from the Pokestop. Double Dark Patch and Energy in hand. Looking good.
Double Dark Patch. Ooh! Emmet did it last game. We're seeing it again. Once those Dark Energy are in the discard pile, they can be thrown out onto the field with those Dark Patches. Throwing some Band-Aids there on that Roaring Moon, but he doesn't need it. He doesn't have damage. He's just trying to look cool. 3 energy now on top of him as well. Pheasantipity EX coming down for some recovery, some protection in these upcoming turns potentially as well for Emmet. We are going to see the poison here, of course, from that Petron EX on this Roaring Moon EX, but that's going to get it into the active position, and that's exactly where we needed it, Kyle, to take that huge knockout on that Lugia V. 2 prize cards taken.
Yeah, talk about walking into a bear trap, though. It might not be Blood Moon Ursa Luna time, but that poison damage, along with the Lugia, that's a perfect knockout. That's not where you want to be. 0 energies will be in play for Emmet Hurley at this time, and that's kind of where I was looking at. A card like that Pokestop, maybe just continue to burn through, try to find some additional resources. It's tough to just rely on double Dark Patch and have no supporter that turn. And hope that 3 energies gets you the rest of the way. Last game, it was 5 energies in this spot. Turned out completely different.
Yeah, it could be very risky here for Emmet, or an uphill battle potentially to deal with, especially since we've already seen double Dark Patch there. So that's a lot of resources down. Ciaran, on the other hand, has now utilized that Summoning Star. Those Archeops, they don't need basic Pokemon. They're popping out onto the bench here. That's what's allowing Ciaran to accelerate all of these special energies from the deck onto the field here. Take this knockout on that Roaring Moon EX. Now, from that Lugia V-Star, that is huge here. 2 prize cards down. Our players are matching each other in momentum, but now we could potentially see the momentum absolutely diminish on Emmet's side potentially here. Kyle, what is his best strategy at this point in time in this match?
Find another Enhanced Hammer, because Ciaran played around everything. Not only having no other V Pokemon in play on the bench to target this turn, but double Mist Energy Lugia V-Star is so filthy. How do you handle this? You can't work your way through just one of those with finding that early Enhanced Hammer. You're going to have to just attack through, and that stinks.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Ciaran did see the knowledge, or did have the knowledge from seeing that card from Emmet. So now has more knowledge taking into this game too to protect his Pokemon here on the right side of our field. So it makes a lot of sense from Ciaran, and that's just one more obstacle of many in Emmet's way.
Yeah, it's an uphill climb, and this is the strategy you probably go for then in that point. It's almost not even worth dealing with this Lugia. Hopefully your opponent just gives you some of those single prizers, start knocking those out. If you can target down Archeops, that's not a terrible strategy. Maybe your opponent doesn't have the resources to extend into Iron Hands and start stealing some more 2 prize knockouts.
Yeah, it's going to be the Iron Bundle. I mean, he's definitely hiking up the mountain there with his little cannon here. He's going to switch out that Archeops. Of course, your opponent gets to choose off this Hyper Blower, and then it goes straight to the discard pile after helping out the team here a little bit. So Emmet Hurley going to utilize, of course, this Professor Sada's Vitality on these ancient Pokemon. Line up these energies, draw an additional 3 cards here as well from that supporter for turn. Oh, please draw them.
Oh,
there
thanks.
We go.
Yeah.
Emmet, you need cards.
I do like cards. There is a lot of draw 2, draw 3, flip 3, do this.
Oh, I've done that
loop.
many times, because you're just like, okay, I need some energy here, and then you kind of get lost.
They can't possibly be giving me more cards, right? I already got 2 energy.
Exactly. So it's going to be the energy attachment for turn here now onto this small Roaring Moon. It is just a
Oh.
one of in this deck here, and it's out there. It was poisoned before. It's got a couple of damage tokens
There
on
it
it,
is.
but that pink card, the Prime Catcher A-Spec here, bringing up this Roaring Moon as well as that small little mouse. I'm sorry, your Wednesday night dinner date is gone, Kyle.
I'll have to call somebody else. We'll see.
Maybe your wife, I don't know.
Yeah, she probably deserves one. The mice are so cool, though.
That's true. They're very cute.
You know what else is cool? Legacy energy. You can potentially incorporate that with an Iron Hands at some point.
Gross.
I don't know if you wanted to draw that card, though. I already had Jet energy in hand. Was probably looking to use that with the Iron Hands. But this is all hypothetical. We need to hit heads on Mezagosa first.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. I mean, we need to have a Mezagosa, and there it is. Ciaran putting it down here. Let's see if it's a heads or a tails to get a Pokemon for Ciaran. Oh, that's a tails. That is not what you want to see. That is a big fail, unfortunately, from that Mezagosa. Putting it into play as well. So that's a stadium in play there for Emmet to utilize. Ciaran using this ability on Archeops, that Primal Turbo, to get out some more energy here. That gift energy lining up this Archeops to potentially get some moves in here down the way.
It would have been too clean if the Mezagosa hit. Like, I could feel it in my jellies. We were just not going to get there. And
that's how Lugia always goes, right, Kyle?
Yep.
Every time.
It's just not the way this pans out. This leads to that awkward exchange now. You take a knockout you do not need.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need it. I guess you have to take it. We're going to see the energy attached from hand as well for Ciaran. There's actually a lot of energy in the hand right now, which is a bit awkward from a deck that likes to accelerate energy from the deck. But we are going to see that Mezagosa now be removed nice and steady. Both
another energy to the hand from the prize cards.
Oh, brutal. We don't want the energy in the hands necessarily, one or two maybe, but that is rough here. At least we have another prize card down. Both of our players now at 3 prize cards. The stadium being removed there by that Lugia V-Star, that Tempest dive as well. Both these players remove stadiums. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why they go away so quick, and then you start to wonder what's going on. It's this is at least a spot where Emmet has some follow-up, has a Pokestop in the hand. But you're in that same position as last time, except you used both resources that move Lugia last turn. You used the Iron Bundle and the Prime Catcher. If it was only one of them, maybe you'd be in a spot to easily knock out one of these Archeops. The gift energy's not doing very much because Ciaran's hand is clumped with all those energies anyways. And I still don't want to attack this Lugia.
I know, yeah, this is a weird position to be in here. Earthen Vessel at least going to seek out these 2 Dark Energy. I believe it's the last 2 in the deck, I think, that I saw for Emmet. So Earthen Vessel getting those out, shuffling up the deck now as well. Squawkabilly EX going to the discard pile. No longer needed, Squawkabilly.
Where he belongs.
Yeah, thanks for doing nothing, I guess, this round.
You were available turn 1. We just know better than that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Squawkabilly down here. Lots of energy in the hand for Emmet. The 2 from the deck, the 1 already in the hand. Concealed cards potentially could happen from Emmet here as well, but we're going to see a Pokegear first. 7 cards here can get an additional supporter to the hand.
Yeah, I think in this case, you're just looking to thin out supporters to hopefully draw into another Pokemon. Roaring Moon, or I suppose it's Roaring Moon EX at this point, would be a great addition to the bench so that you start to get a little more value from these Sadas. You're going to need these energies later on.
Yeah, you need to get the energies onto essential Pokemon. You need your ancient Pokemon here. Just the boss's orders coming out of the deck off that Pokegear. But like you said, Kyle, that's pretty good because Emmet Hurley is an absolute champ in thinning out this deck and realizes, okay, if I'm going to get into these Pokemon, I need to at least avoid some supporters there. I'd rather have them in the hand. So,
yeah, I don't think boss's orders is a play that we see this time around. Have to take this opportunity to start to accelerate energies. Pokestop potentially could find a card like Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, something to help out.
Yeah, lots of items there. We'll have to see if it turns out here for Emmet. Top 3 cards. You can keep all the items if you get them.
Stretcher, little help. That's the wrong guy.
I was going to say, whoop. That's going to be the flip the script here off that Pheasantipity EX to draw into 3 cards.
Stretcher, okay.
Yep, that's something. A Sada, a Knight Stretcher, and an Earthen Vessel being drawn off that flip the script so far.
Now the questions. You don't have Dark Patch. You do have Sada. You can help yourself out there. In a spot where poisoning to move this Pokemon doesn't feel great. We need some help.
There you go. All right, 2 to the discard here in that Judge in the Pokestop, but does net a ball here. Not a net ball, though.
This is tough. Do you Night Stretcher for the single moon, the little moon, and try to incorporate that? It just doesn't feel great. You don't want to poison this moon and send it in the active spot.
No, that feels bad. That feels really bad. Ultra Ball being played here from Emmet now. The ball we just got from that Pokestop. Discarding an Earthen Vessel, has to choose an additional card to discard to get another Pokemon out, so at least we'll have that. Supporter has not been played for the turn yet. We do have a bunch of Professor Sadas in the hand already here for Emmet. Get the energy out, stabilize the board, draw some additional cards. I mean, that hand is crazy big for Emmet already, but that's where you want to be with this deck. You want to have these options to be able to streamline all of your turns here and get to those last 3 prize cards needed. That's all Emmet has to get to here. Concealed cards going to be activated here off this Radiant Greninja in the active. 2 additional cards for Emmet to play with.
Is it any help? There is a Dark Patch. I don't want to use Dark Patch just yet. I want to hold on to that for the Pecharunt closeout potentially later on. That'd be a great way to clean up, surprise this Lugia V-Star, take a big knockout. If you can use the Night Stretcher for Iron Bundle, target down one of these Archeops, bring it into the active spot, and then attack with this Pokemon here. Give your opponent those prize cards and say, you know what? I don't care if you go down to 1 prize. In fact, that's good for me. I can surprise you with the Pecharunt and deal 300 damage with the Irritated Outburst.
Yeah, that is not something that we've really highlighted very much because there's not many decks that even play this Pecharunt EX, but it doesn't just have the subjugating chains to be able to switch up these dark Pokemon into the active. It does have that move too. Irritated Outburst, that is a great name for it because it just takes huge knockouts.
He's a mad little lad.
At the end of this game, exactly, Kyle. Mad lad, 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken, and that could be devastating here. So we'll have to see if Emmet will be able to close things out, putting another Pecharunt EX onto the field. Iron Bundle being activated. We got some Hyper Blower action. Archeops with that energy attached being brought into the active now for Ciaran.
Yeah, for Emmet now, is there any additional cards that you could play if your opponent does find that Iono? That'd be helpful. You know you're going to give your opponent maybe, 2 extra cards, and they draw for the turn, so 3 more resources to find Iono and start to frustrate you a little bit. You can play 1 Dark Patch now to a Pecharunt. If your opponent does boss's orders, you have the Dark Patch already in hand for the second one to attack. I think this lines up very well. Emmet's spotting all the lines here, trying to close out and reach the finals.
Exactly. I mean, earning the keep here, Emmet Hurley is indeed. Of course, this Roaring Moon EX is going to be brought in. It is going to be poisoned thanks to that subjugating chains here.
Oh, man, I'm poisoned. Please don't knock me out.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That'd be such a shame.
We've talked about bear traps here.
Yeah.
What kind of Pokemon is that? Some sort of bird? I don't know.
This is a Canadian moose trap.
Yes, exactly. But that's what we want to see. Roaring Moon EX coming in hot here, taking that knockout on the Archeops. Just 2 prize cards left to take for Emmet. But as we've outlined, there are plays here for these turns. And Ciaran Farah just has this Lugia V-Star, the lone Lugia that is here now, and the lone Archeops to hang out to get some more energy out. But do we still have all those billions of energy in hand?
Yes.
Yep.
Four of them it looks like. The Legacy is one of them. Looking to accelerate now, and
yeah,
I guess you incorporate a single prize. I don't even know how to do this at this point. It's so tricky.
Figure it out, Kyle. It's your job.
All right. There's a Legacy energy. That's probably one of the main pieces to sticking around for an additional turn.
True.
Luminion also in the hand, so that Iono that we saw Emmet trying to play around, using that one dark patch early and holding the second one. Something you can think about too. You don't really want to take a knockout because then you walk into Pheasantipity. Maybe you can set up a play where you attack in with the Archeops, put some damage onto this Roaring Moon, and close out with Iron Hands for 3 prize cards.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the best potential play here for Ciaran. Just looking through the deck is not going to do any energy.
There's no way that works anymore now. You'd have to use this to at least accelerate on the Archeops, attach return to the Iron Hands, but even then, if it gets knocked out, you have no more energies to work with. Yeah. Oh, that's a cute way. I'm not going to knock you out. I'll throw a DTE on here so that you stick around. I don't want to win.
Not walking.
It's strictly correct, too.
It is. That DTE, like, the double turbo energy.
Emmet looks over at the judge like, can he do that?
Well, maybe was not expecting that at all here. Emmet was putting that Roaring Moon EX, hoping it would be knocked out, but it survives there. It's still poisoned, but it still has that 10 HP left on that Roaring Moon EX. So Ciaran not falling in to that trap from Emmet. And now we're back on the other side of the field. Emmet Hurley has been playing this game flawlessly so far, but he still has to close things out with another 2 prize cards. How is he going to get there is the question.
Yeah, we were all in on the Petron at that point.
Yep.
You need the prize cards to happen. You need Ciaran to slip up and take that knockout. It's not the case this time around. And 1 energy to work with here. Looking at Mew for potential copying. There's nothing really to attack with that helps you. You don't want to take a knockout on a Pokemon like the Archeops, really. You're not getting anywhere, and getting out of the active spot feels like #1 issue here, but Petron will help you there.
Yeah, exactly. Petron will help you, and it'll remove that poison. All effects go away once you rejoin the bench as a Pokemon here if you're on Emmet's side. I mean, and you only have 10 HP left, so a little awkward there.
I think we need to move.
Yeah, we need to move out of here nice and quick here. That poison evaporating off that Roaring Moon EX. Pheasantipity joining us in active position now. That's where Emmet Hurley's going with this, attaching that energy there. It, of course, is poisoned now as well from that subjugating chains. Pokestop also coming out into play, and we're going to see that last dark patch being played here from Emmet, and it's going on to that secondary Pecharunt EX as well.
Yep, we see this is one of those issues with closing out with the Pecharunt at the end. You need the energy attachment, the dark patch to get the job done. Sada's not going to work for this Pokemon, so yeah, you have them lined up. It's Night Stretchers that can help out at a spot like this to get that additional resource.
How many of those do we even have? 2?
2. We used one.
We already used one.
That's one. We got 1 left.
Oh, we're doing math here, Kyle. We are doing math.
Yeah,
1 left.
The plan, you have to put some damage onto that Lugia V. You cannot really, you can't do it with the Roaring Moon, can you? Is this gonna attack in?
Yeah, I mean,
this is so dangerous though. There's Iron Hands to think about.
That is really scary here, but that's going to be that Roaring Moon EX, of course.
This is a huge window here for Ciaran.
I'm scared, Kyle.
Help!
I'm scared.
There's a Nest Ball. There's a Legs. There's Iron Hands.
Oh my gosh.
Looking for the rest of the help from Archeops. What?
Wow.
Just going to take a look there with the Nest Ball, see if the resources are there. There is a DTE. There is another energy. And Iron Hands is going to be lined up.
We have that big pink
and the
card
3 prize knockout there.
in the hand here for Ciaran. That A-Spec helping out, accelerating that Iron Hands to be able to take, as you said, Kyle, that 3 prize card knockout on that big Roaring Moon EX there. Take this game away. Ciaran able to pull it off by the skin of his teeth.
I don't love a lot of people, all right? I've got my family, I've got some friends.
You got that the Minccino.
I love Ciaran Farah, dude. Oh my gosh, what a great play there. We have to highlight that one more time. That double turbo was sneaky good. We can take a look here and see just how things went down in game number 2. I mean, this is what a great play by Emmet to bait into there, bring up the poisoned Pokemon. Say, go ahead, take these prize cards. They're all yours, pal. I definitely don't read Pecharunt like the world's finalist didn't. And here we are now, an opportunity. Sneaky, sneaky plays.
Sneaky plays indeed. Went completely under the radar there. I mean, even the flips there for Ciaran were not really going his way. He was up against the wall here for Emmet, but didn't fall into any traps. Looked at all of the lines here, knew the cards, knew the situation, and was able to pull things out with just that lone Lugia V-Star, that lone Archeops, but then right at the last minute, just when he needed it the most, he had played right into this incredible turn here. You see the double turbo, the jet energy, that beautiful legacy energy, allowing Ciaran to take those 3 prize cards in the end of this game. We see that big smile, and that's going to bring us to a game 3. You couldn't ask for anything better here, Kyle. Ciaran, of course, I'm sure super happy to be in this spot.
That smile said everything you needed to know. That is a clip that Ciaran can hold on to for quite some time, but he's not here for clips. He's here for trophies. He's trying
Gold
to get the job
Pikachu
done.
trophies too, or should I say medals, I suppose. But also, really cool still, the Canadians, representing the Canadians in Ciaran, they're hanging on here in this Masters Top 4, Kyle, and I'm sure that's what you love to see too.
Well, this isn't something we love to see from either player. We are going into game 3, but hey guys, you remember how to play Pokemon?
Well, that's one way to start off a game 3 here in our Masters
But check this
Top
out.
4. What am I checking out here, Kyle?
He'll do it. Just wait. He'll get there.
He's got a lot of cards.
All right, he's gonna make you wait. He has
actually gonna make you wait.
He has Ultra Ball double chops ready to go. This is.
You gotta set things up first, you know, Kyle.
Yeah, come on, Ciaran. We'll get it together.
Ciaran, we're here for the show. Come on.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not even see that. That is bonkers here. I mean, that's the ideal turn you want to see, at least for Lugia. Pretty awkward with the Iron Hands, but not the worst at all, especially when you have double Archeops, Ultra Ball. You're hanging out here, and the Nest Ball support as well on this initial turn.
What if I said Iron Hands might be one of the better starters in this matchup?
No way. Elaborate, Kyle.
230 hit points is kind of good. You have a lot of jet energies. You get to maintain the fact that you're not giving up those initial prize cards on turn 1. You just absorb a Calamity Storm. Who cares? You're just going to jet and move into some Lugia sweeping. And if you do that double miss strategy again, I think you come out on top there.
Where's the Halucha when you need it, huh?
Honestly, yeah. Can he borrow it from Rowan?
Yeah,
He's not using it right now.
Rowan, I need your Halucha real quick. Slide it over. Yeah, that is actually pretty solid point there, Kyle, for sure. We're going to see Ciaran set everything up here. I'd like to note as well, Emmet has gone first in both of these last games that we saw.
Not always by choice.
Yeah, not always by choice. But Ciaran is now going first this time around. That could also kind of change the pace here in this matchup, especially with what we're seeing here as far as this initial setup. This is where Emmet is seeing, great, opening hand, Ultra Ball, double Archeops. I mean,
Emmett's over here thinking he got away with one. He's like, oh yeah, good. I can handle Nest Ball. This guy's not doing nothing. And
exactly.
Blam.
That deserves an applause right there for Ciaran Farah. I mean, representing all the Lugia players out there, streamlining this deck as great as possible that we see. It's just a pass over now to Emmet. Awkwardly starting the Pheasantipity EX, does only have 1 retreat cost, so it's not the worst either here for Emmet.
Good card, bad card, bad
card.
Very
bad card. Bad double card here, Kyle. Both of those Professor Sada's Vitality hitting the discard pile on turn 1 from the Pokestop. That is brutal.
The Dark Energy was so huge, it at least activates a Sada that's in hand, but we are down 3 Sadas turn 1.
Yeah, that's scary. We got a Palpad in there, right?
Sure, if we get there.
Yeah, true.
Our opponent is throwing away chops.
Exactly. This could be very fast-paced here from Ciaran's side, but double Dark Patch and a Trekking Shoes. I'll take it. And there's that Palpad as well, straight away from Emmet. So really weird to see all those Professor Sada's Vitality hit the discard, but we've got answers here. Trekking Shoes, it's going to be an option. Do I keep this card or do I throw it away? It's going to be a keep there within that nest ball here for Emmet.
Yeah, one of the few cards you want to keep at this point. It's typically
Yes.
just burning and churning through the deck, trying to find some additional resources. But eyeing down likely a card like that Radiant Greninja is going to be beneficial there. Plenty of dark energies in hand, it looked like. And if you can just draw into a few more resources, there's a chance to get a relevant attack off this turn. Although it doesn't feel great when you're not knocking out Iron Hands. The real beauty would be if you could do this with the Iron Bundle.
Ooh, I mean, we've seen it several times here from Emmet. Hasn't been too pivotal there, but Iron Bundle is a little cutie that Emmet does have at his disposal there and has identified that in the deck as well. So taking a look through here, you saw a quick look at the prize cards there for Emmet. A couple of Pokemon, nothing too wild in there.
Yeah, I suppose the one highlight is the Squawkabilly. If you wanted to risk all the biscuits,
No way.
you could go for it. This is kind of the setup where you're like, oh,
True.
crap, I might need some cards. And,
Yeah.
it could go down that route, but it is in the prize cards this time around. Might be helping him out, though, because we know how that ends. Iron Hands is already in play. Those 3 prize cards are going to fall at probably the most inopportune time.
Yeah, that might just be too much of a liability, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But I think Emmet Hurley still has some play here, as long as we see that same strategy being utilized here from Emmet, just consistently drawing these cards, lining up these Pokemon, accelerating these energies.
That's the card.
Stabilizing.
Ultra Ball, that is the card. It lines up everything. He found not only the Ultra Ball, but the Pecharunt. Now he has the free retreat into this Pokemon, could use Iron Bundle with the Ultra Ball and take a knockout on a Lugia V. It's dangerous. You throw away your whole board trying to get this set up. You deal 10 additional damage to your Roaring Moon by way of the poison. You walk right into the Lugia again. But you keep up. You get those first 2 prize cards, and maybe you can put Ciaran on the back foot.
I think that's what Emmet Hurley is eyeing up right now, just mapping it out in his head as we speak here, looking at the hand, making sure everything is utilized great here. Double Dark Patch, an Emmet Hurley classic at this point.
Yeah, that's why the Ultra Ball was a part of the mix, if he needed to do that. But he has the energy attachment as well.
Yeah, true. You could just hard retreat here for Emmet. Pecharunt EX is going to come into play here, though, for Emmet, but yeah, this is pretty solid. I mean, we've had some good couple of cards being drawn, and we have even more here for Emmet to get through. We saw so many of those Professor Sadas hit the discard pile, so it's nice to have those recycled there for the following turns for Emmet. 2 Sadas back into the deck. That's nice.
Yeah, I think Emmet wants to go a more conservative route than the one I laid out. There's the plan to attack into the Iron Hands, soften it up for later, maybe clean it up with Baby Moon later on. And you don't walk into the issue with that gift energy, as that would likely be the Pokemon promoted, knocked out, and then Ciaran with his small hand size, if you give him 7 cards, he's going to knock you out next turn.
Yeah, that is very true. Could knock you out, and
oh, we're just going this knockout. Yeah, this works too. This
yeah,
it doesn't feel great, but I suppose you can just take them.
Forgot, you have just like a free knockout anytime you want. You just have to have 3 energy attached here, of course, and do 200 damage to yourself. But you can take out anything you want, and it's going to be the Iron Hands EX being taken out there from Emmet. 2 prize cards down, wiped off the field here. Ciaran does have that Lugia V-Star now, and that brought out our Archeops. Primal Turbo is being initiated in this turn here for Ciaran to accelerate these energy. Of course, that Mist energy, Gift energy, V-Guard energy as well.
This is not a situation where Ciaran wants to go for the double Mist. We've seen that before. It's one of the big ways that Emmet could take a knockout. You sneak and surprise in with that Enhanced Hammer, remove that, and then have access to the Frenzied Gouging one more time, clear out this big Pokemon and all of its hit points. And Ciaran's going to take a risk here, and it might work out, because if you can hold on to that Mist energy at the right time and your opponent doesn't have access to a Pecharunt knockout, you're going to be flying high.
Flying high. Well, Tempest Dive is going to fly a little bit more here for this Lugia V-Star, reaching for that 2-prize knockout there on that Roaring Moon EX. It was heavily damaged. It was right for the pick-in, and Ciaran took that. Tying up the prize cards here. Of course, Ciaran went first in this matchup, so Emmet Hurley has to keep up the pace in this match as well. Radiant Greninja, the active Pokemon right now here for Emmet. And it's just some support Pokemon on the bench here for Emmet so far in that Petron EX, that Pheasantipity as well. Trekking Shoe's going to kick us off into this Flip the Script.
Yeah, found the Sada, which we saw shuffled back in by way of Palpad on that opening turn. And Emmet, he has to do so much to keep up in a match like this. Ciaran's just cheating energies onto the board left and right. Emmet's doing it the old-fashioned way. He's got to surprise his opponent and find the patches, the Sadas. And sure enough, that enhanced hammer is going to come into play now. It was found, and that could remove the mist energy.
Ooh, yeah, there's only one missed energy there. Like you said, Kyle, no double missed. We only have one hammer, but that'll do it. Discarding that special energy, allowing for frenzied gouging here from Emmet.
Yeah, one missed energy in the prize cards for Ciaran.
Ooh,
maybe
yeah.
Just didn't feel comfortable seeing that, or maybe he was stuck in the hand.
True.
Don't see it in the hand just yet.
I know, Ciaran's playing it close here to the chest with that hand. Haven't seen much, but Emmet also playing it as close here, making sure to line everything up as properly as possible. This is scary here, Kyle.
So tense.
I know, it is. It is very tense. We're both on the edge of our seats here, trying to see which way this is going to go, because it's only going to be a few more turns until we have whichever deck, whoever player is going to be advancing into our finals. So everything's on the line for both of our players here. Ultra Ball going to be kicked off here. Discarding an Ultra Ball, discarding a Pecharunt EX here for Emmet for any Pokemon from the deck.
You see 3 Dark Energies in the discard pile. There is that Dark Patch. There is the Sada. No energies just yet in the hand, but a few more ways to potentially find them. We saw the Pokestop in hand to draw some additional resources. Sada will net you 3 more cards. And at this point, you just want to continue to thin down. Use that Ultra Ball, find another Roaring Moon. 2 targets for the Professor Sada's Vitality.
Yeah, that's huge. That is definitely huge. 2 ancient Pokemon, that's what you need to utilize this Professor Sada's Vitality. Get these energy out of the discard pile onto those ancient Pokemon. Draw an additional 3 cards, getting us more resources here. That's what Emmet needs. We have that Dark Patch in the hands. We need 3 Dark Energy to be able to attack with either of these Pokemon.
The Dark Energy.
Ooh, off that Sada.
Emmet even thought about not having the second energy down on the room. He's like, well, what if I leave myself the opportunity to find second Dark Patch as an alternative? I'd like to keep energies in my discard pile. And he said, well, I've already got one. I'll be okay here. And sure enough, is rewarded by finding one of those energies that was pretty likely to be found.
Yeah, Professor Sada's Vitality, showing the utility of that card, drawing that energy. Nest Ball now can be played to get out a Mew EX as well onto the field for Emmet.
Yeah, full-on glass cannon mode from this point forward. We're poisoning ourselves. We're throwing Pokemon around left and right, damaging our own Roaring Moon. It doesn't matter. Just start the race. You're already ahead a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That Mew EX. Nice little option there for a pivot in the future turns for Emmet, for sure. A lot easier than the Radiant Greninja, but we got some subjugating chains as well. We're hanging out here, Kyle. Emmet, of course, using that Dark Patch we've been talking about. This is 3 Dark Energy now in all-in-one turn here, Kyle, onto this Roaring Moon EX. And that's exactly what Emmet wants to see here. It's going to be poisoned now from that subjugating chains. Here's the enhanced hammer. This is the turn that we've been waiting for. Miss Energy gone here now from Emmet.
Yeah, both players with the disrespectful last-second surprise. We saw the Ultra Ball double chop as the last action, and now the hammer as the last action. It is a beautiful game to see as we see them really battling it out here.
Exactly. I've heard from a lot of players that that's exactly what you want to do. You want to play an impactful last action so that you essentially throw your opponent off in the very last second, right before it's their turn. Now they're playing a totally different field because that Lugia V-Star is gone here for Ciaran now. Emmet, Hurley, 2 prize cards left to take. Ciaran has to respond to this. We see these energy coming out now, and that is going to get us somewhere in this Mist energy as well as the Legacy energy that were in the deck here being drawn out from this Primal Turbo. But Ciaran still needs a couple of pieces here.
Yeah, honestly, I think I like Ciaran's spot a little better than Emmet's at this point. Just depends on if the rest of his hand is going to help him out, but Lugia V, along with the Mist Energy, the Legacy, as long as you can evolve,
that's what I'm saying. How do we evolve?
Be fairly comfortable.
Did you see something in hand? I've only gotten a couple of peeks, but I didn't see any.
Well, let's find it. What are we doing?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
come on, giddy up.
Ciaran always surprises us, so
it's the last action, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm expecting it still, but we're going to have to see where Ciaran goes from here. But we do have those energy being applied onto that Archeops on the bench here. Gift energy, Jet energy.
Jet energy works fine here, too.
Yeah,
promote this Archeops attack with this Pokemon. You're pretty safe with the Lugia V there. Obviously, with the Legacy energy, you're only giving up 1 prize card.
It's just supporters. It's just supporters in the hand, I think, from Ciaran. Yeah, so that's just the Lugia V, but that's still a knockout there on that Roaring Moon EX. Ciaran matching the pace here in this matchup. Just a single prize card Pokemon left in the active here for Ciaran as well. Familiar, reminiscent turn that we saw from game 2 here between these players. Now we're in the game 3. 2 prize cards each for both of our players. Is Emmet, Hurley going to be able to pull things off here in this game? That is the question, Kyle. It's all coming down to this turn.
There's no way to steal that additional prize card anymore. Enhanced Hammer could remove the Legacy, but it's not there anymore. We saw it last turn on the Mist Energy.
Yeah.
So just a single prize everywhere you look.
I guess, yeah, you can only take out the Mist or the Legacy, and now Ciaran has got both. None of them were, well, actually one Mist was prize, but that seemed to be okay. The Legacy was not stuck in the prize cards, and that's protecting Ciaran here now. So Emmet is going to have to keep things up here, but I think you're right, Kyle, about Ciaran looking like he's in a pretty mighty fine spot, potentially, even without the Lugia V-Star.
Right, you don't worry about finding that Pokemon to deal the additional damage. At this point of the game, Emmet's taking enough prize cards. Blood Moon Ursaluna is going to just run over any Pokemon with 2 that gives up 2 prize cards and lock this game up for Ciaran potentially. Of course, you want to see that in combination with the Lumineon of Boss's Orders, because I think Emmet's going to find a way to take this knockout, but he's trying to do it with a single prizer, and where are we getting with this hand? It's just a bunch of junk.
Yeah, that is tough. Just a bunch of junk. I mean, we can draw a couple more cards here. That Pheasantipity EX helping out just a little bit with the flip the script, but it's just more junk. It's just like 3 Pokestops there.
Yeah, there's so many cards, so many resources. He's got Judge there as a last-second attempt, but trying to not throw away that Pokemon unless you have the Stretcher to go along with it.
Yeah, that Roaring Moon going into the discard pile here for Emmet.
We've already seen the Iron Hands from Ciaran. It fell as the first prize cards for Emmet, so attacking with a single prize Pokemon would fare pretty well.
Wow, it's going to come down to this, Kyle. I mean, we're in the final turns here of our top 4 between these players. Is it just going to be too much pressure that Ciaran has mounted over there on the right side of our field? Is Emmet going to be able to do anything here? I mean, we got a single prize card Pokemon, no more Enhanced Hammer here. We're going to see the Earthen Vessel to get out the single Dark Energy from the deck now. Judge being discarded to that Earthen Vessel, but Emmet, the cards are just not falling in his favor in this turn right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's masterfully played by Ciaran to set up this position. You don't have an answer to this Archeops immediately. The only Pokemon that can check it right now is a Roaring Moon EX, which likely to be knocked out by a Blood Moon Ursaluna on the following turn.
Exactly. That's just the options Lugia has at its advantage here that Ciaran's going to be able to utilize in these next couple of turns. Iron Bundle being thrown into the discard pile off that trekking shoes here for Emmet.
Both players just playing with the bench space so well. It's the spots you don't see that are so impactful, as there's just no good targets right here. Yeah, you can target down the Archeops, I suppose. You're trying to not give up an attack into a gift energy Pokemon, but you want to do this in combination with Judge?
Yeah, true. Which
he's like, I just got to punch this Lugia, I guess. I don't know. I'm just throwing cards.
Exactly. That's what it seems to be here. I mean, throwing cards down, drawing cards, throwing cards, but what are we actually doing here? Are we advancing anything? And I think the answer to that, unfortunately, is just going to be a Pheasanttivity EX in the active position here, being moved up. We're going to see the Prime Catcher being put into play. Mew EX going to join the active position, as well as that Archeops, like you said, playing around that gift energy. I guess here's another Judge. We discarded one with the Earthen Vessel, but we had another Judge here, and it's a beautiful one as well.
Yeah, at this point, find a Dark Patch. Remove that Pokestop from play. Do not give your opponent an opportunity to maybe find a card like Capturing Aroma, Ultra Ball, something to find that Blood Moon Ursaluna. If you can take a knockout on this Archeops, still stay in the prize race, have an opportunity to come back here.
Yeah, we definitely need to see the knockout here so Emmet can clean things up on the next turn of this game, but that's only if Ciaran is not standing in his way at this point in time in this matchup here. 4 cards for each player after shuffling up their hands into their decks.
Another chance to thin. Restart has not yet been used, so finding a way to move some of these cards, find 1 additional energy here, Ultra Ball it away, draw 3. Could find Dark Patch.
I mean, where has the time gone as well, Kyle? This game has been going here. These players are laser focused in all of these resources Emmet is looking through right now in the discard pile. So much of this game has progressed here for Emmet, and we're in the final turns here. We'll have to see what is going on. Earthen Vessel throwing away a Professor Sada's Vitality.
See 2 Dark Patch in the deck from this point.
Yeah, taking a look at the resources for sure.
At least 15, 17 cards maybe. Can
thinning
burn
things
these
down
resources
as much as possible. Thinning to the absolute best. Pokegear is going to be the last thing going down. We're shuffling now. We've thinned as much as possible. Emmet Hurley gonna use this restart.
This is just for a chance.
Exactly.
To take this knockout, hope that your opponent didn't find the right cards off of this Judge, and he's not asking for much.
No, not asking for much. Well, we've shuffled here. We're gonna have the cut from Ciaran. This is the restart. 3 cards here for Emmet. Let's see what they are, Kyle.
Ooh.
Night Stretcher. That's
Sees the single prize Pokemon that you can promote, but you already have the Radiant Greninja, I suppose.
Yeah, true. Just taking a look at this discard.
Oh, this is so tough. He's not finding the cards.
Just brutal. I mean, it was only 3 cards. Such a slim chance here for Emmet Hurley to secure what is needed for this turn. And this is dangerous. I mean, already being put in somewhat of a checkmate position here from Ciaran. And if this is a missed turn, I mean, that is brutal. But that Mew EX gonna join the bench once again. That free retreat cost. Radiant Greninja in the active. Can Ciaran run away with this game and advance into our finals? That's what we're going to have to see. Primal Turbo being utilized to start the turn.
This is Ciaran's favorite spot, right?
Yes.
Thin my deck out, throw energies around left and right to count the final resources. We don't see a Pokemon that immediately closes out the game just yet. Lugia V doesn't take the knockout, and there is an additional bench space. There is Lumineon that can search out boss. But you're going to have to spin the wheel, boo.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. We need some more pieces, and Ciaran does have the option to spin that Pokemon Go wheel. That
He's been here before.
Yeah.
He's been in this spot just trying to maximize the odds. Give himself an opportunity.
Ooh. Well, both Primal Turbos being utilized here from Ciaran. All of these energy here out.
With not much else to consider.
No.
It seems like Lumineon's should search out the boss, find that card, and then use Pokestop.
Yeah, but we're shuffling though.
I'll attach a gift energy.
Oh, well,
I'll just speed wing.
it's just going to be a speed wing here
Wow,
from Ciaran.
that's so safe. But
It's-
I suppose your opponent hasn't really put the pressure on you.
I mean, I guess so. That Radiant Greninja surviving. Just 10 HP left there. Sorry, 30 HP left. And Ciaran is playing it safe. Speed wing attack, 120 there. And wow.
You start to wonder if that last stream game that he played is really starting to mess with him. He's thinking back to a time where he did go all in.
And it burned.
And it burned him.
Burned.
It was his first loss of the tournament. He fought his way all the way back here, gets to the top 4 now.
Okay, how do you feel about Emmet now being in this position here, having additional turn? We just saw the speed wing onto the Radiant Greninja. It survived here now. We have the Night Stretcher to bring that Roaring Moon up. Is this a chance for Emmet?
1,000% yes. The Roaring Moon was the opportunity that he needed. If you can
And it's there.
start to set this Pokemon up, attack in, take a single prize knockout, that'd be great. But this is an issue you run into with this deck is you don't necessarily play a ton of ancient cards. We'll get the count, I'm sure, later on. But
Yeah.
it's you have Sadas, you have a few Earthen Vessels thrown in, other Pokemon that get knocked out along the way, and you just hope that you reached at least a relevant knockout here on Archeops by this time.
Yeah, that's true. Relevant knockout on the Archeops. Well, we've seen these energy come down on that Professor Sada's Vitality. The cards have been drawn into already. There's another dark patch into the hand as well for Emmet. Looking through the deck, or sorry, the discard here from Emmet, but got these Pokemon. And honestly, this feels like an extra chance at this game here for Emmet, but which way is it going to go? Oof, subjugating chains going to allow Emmet to bring up one of these Pokemon, dark Pokemon. Oh, just flipping the wrong. Just flipping the wrong one.
You can't flip the script. No one got knocked out last turn.
Yes. Does have to have a knockout to flip some scripts there, but subjugating chains going to bring up this Roaring Moon into the active. It is going to be poisoned here. Love to see it, Kyle, but
I'm assuming the numbers are already there. There is an Earthen Vessel in hand if you need one additional card, but the ancient cards probably taking the knockout at this point of the game. And for Ciaran, he's going to see a little more resources there with the gift energy. Maybe he finds the cards. Lumineon already in hand. He's looking for Lugia V-Star. He's looking for Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Down to this.
Something to help here.
wait. Okay, all right, here we have the gift energy being drawn off, the Archeops in
Still
the
not-
active
Well,
now.
look, I think he's got the nest ball there. He can go find that Blood Moon Ursaluna if it's hanging out. He's found the boss's orders. He has the Lumineon in hand, and there's the Blood Moon Ursaluna to lock this game out. Of course, sequence it all right, buddy, but he's got it. Take your pick. 2 prize cards are going to be lined up, and both players see the writing on the wall. Here, Farah in the finals.
Ciaran Farah taking things down with Lugia V-Star. It was a match, or should I say 3 matches that were treacherous here for both of our players, but Ciaran coming out on top. 2-1 record in the top 4 here in Baltimore, advancing into our finals. He's going to need to compose himself once again before this next matchup because, I mean, that was a long game of play, but both of our players showed the best skill possible in those matchups and utilized their decks literally perfectly.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Such a great match that we had between our 2 competitors here. Emmet was working, and we can take a look at those replays one more time.
Gosh, there's so many games.
What an amazing match that we had between these 2 players. I mean, Emmet was just taking knockouts as reckless as possible, and that's exactly what you have to do in this kind of matchup. It's the only way to keep up with the turn 2 chopping.
Yeah, turn 2 chops, and Ciaran was able to secure that, I think, in every single game that we saw, which definitely helps out Koi a bit here as a Lugia V-Star player. But we saw Ciaran just line up everything in these matchups. We played 3 games here, so Emmet took our first one. It's our second match now where cards were just flying, but we saw this incredible turn here. Iron Hands coming out to play, a double turbo, that legacy energy. fully ready for Ciaran to take that game. And this was our game 3, where things really went back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a destructive opener on both ends. You have to take the big knockout with Frenzied Gouging, and you run into a situation where you're just giving up prize cards left and right, but that's what you need to do here. It starts to play down the Sadas, find some additional energies to help out, but you're not dealing with the main threat. You use that Enhance Hammer early on, and then it starts to get to this choppy mid-game where both players don't really know how to handle themselves.
Exactly.
We're speed winging, trying to close out games, and I mean, what a big call here from Ciaran to slow down the game state and take his time, and then by this turn, Gift Energy activated, boss's orders, Blood Moon Ursaluna. He's making his way to the finals.
I think that's the name of the game here, Kyle. Making his way to the finals by identifying every single out possible there in that matchup and really setting up those checkmates. That's exactly what Ciaran did flawlessly there in all 3 of those games.
Yeah, he's going to have to switch up the pace. It's going to be a completely different animal on the other side of the board. Henry Chow with the Gardevoir.
Oh my gosh.
2-0
That's
against Steven Varesco.
Woo!
Against Lugia.
Oh.
Just took it down. Showed off some skill in that matchup with the quick 2-0.
That's not what you were
thinking,
thinking,
time
Kyle?
to sit here and watch. Yeah, it can go the other way very quickly. Iron Hands can start doing work. I won't give away too much. We're going to watch it pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true, Kyle. Hey, I am honored, honestly, to be able to watch this finals match coming up. It's going to be Lugia V-Star